we're taking a look at one compressor that you will find in almost every single session I work on that has snare, overheads, and vocals. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Tuesday Review Day. Like I said, we're taking a look at one of my all-time favorite compressors that I use in so many sessions. This is the CLA-76. I love this 1176 emulator. It sounds amazing, gives me smooth compression or harsh compression when I need it, depending on the type of compression I need for whatever tracks I'm working with. Now, before we get into this, please leave a like and comment down below. Tell me what you guys think of the 76. What is your favorite compressor for snare, vocals, or overheads? And be sure to subscribe. It helps out my channel a lot. So like I said, the CLA-76 is a great compressor. Chris Lord-Alge worked with Waves to make this. I'm not sure when it came out. I know this review is way behind from when it initially came out, but I still wanted to make one of it just because of how much I enjoy it. It does have two skins. You have Bluey and Blackie, which feels really weird to say, but whatever. I think this has to do with different types of the 1176 that were released, but I don't believe that there's a difference in sound with using each one. It is just a skin characteristic of it. Going across all the settings, you have the input, gain, output, attack and release times, ratio, 20, 12, 8, 4, and all. Here you have a gain reduction, input signal and output signal, and then just a general compressor on off, which works the same as the bypass button up here. Along the bottom, Waves started implementing this thing called analog noise, which please never use. It functions mostly as just noise. That's all it is. It introduces a 50 hertz or 60 hertz hum. It doesn't give you an analog feel, I don't think. Every engineer I've talked to said that they always turn it off. They always have to turn it off because it just introduces a hum in your track that there's no reason for it to be there. It doesn't add an analog warmth or anything like that. Let me show you what I mean. So to really hear this, you're gonna have to turn up your volume, but here I'm going to have it with the signal off and then the signal on. If you look down here at the vocal bus that we are working on, Vox 1, as well as just the overall vocal bus, you'll see there's no signal coming through. As soon as I turn this on, you'll see and possibly hear if you turn up the volume. Now it's subtle, but you see here, this little green light comes on. That means that signal is passing. So it is just generating a 50 or 60 hertz hum to come through. Here as well, if you look at the master, you see there is nothing there. Click it on. Click it off. Disappears. So it please don't use this on your tracks. It introduces noises that there is no reason to have. If someone does have a reason to use it, leave a comment and explain your thought process to me because I don't understand it. But those are all the functions. Really, one of my favorite things with the 76 is all of the presets for the Blackie Bluey from producers Daniel Gonzalez, Dennis Savage, Greg Price, Greg Wells, or like I said, just the defaults. There are some amazing presets in there. And most of the time I will choose the preset and then make the slight adjustments I need for whatever track I'm working on. It is very rare that I will start from scratch just because of how much those presets set me up from the start. Here on this vocal that we're going to solo up and listen to, we're going to listen to it in bypass. And what I like to use on this one, I did use the Greg Wells GW lead vocal here. I'll also give you an example of the Rock My Vocal because the Rock My Vocal is what I love to pull out most of the time. It helps me get a lot of attack and presence in a vocal without a lot of harshness. But again, here we're going to listen to it in bypass and then turn it on.
Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Everybody's looking for something.
Load up the Rock My Vocal preset. Like I said, you want to turn the analog noise off. Some of the presets do have it on, so you always have to check for that, double check for that. I've had sessions where I wasn't paying attention to that, came in and heard noise in my session. I was so confused what was going on. I thought something was wrong with my speakers because there wasn't supposed to be any noise coming through. Go through all my plugins, realize I had the analog noise generator on. And this is also in the CLA-2A and 3A, I believe, as well as some other Waves plugins.
Everybody's looking for something. Everybody's looking for something.
So for this, I would maybe back off the input a little bit.
Everybody's looking for something.
It's not bad. Like I said, this is a general one that I'll go with, and I will adjust accordingly to match the sounds that I need. And I love the way it sounds overall. Now, I did say that I also love it on my snare and my overheads. So I only had one overhead on this track. So the way I really like to use the CLA-76 on my overheads is with a trick I learned when I was an intern out at Sweetwater's recording studio in Indiana. You take the attack and release, crank them all the way down, and then you set the ratio to all, adjust the input and output accordingly, and it will work to really grab the transients of snares, toms, kicks, and bring them down, mostly snare, because that'll pop out a lot in your overheads. But we'll take a listen to it in bypass and then turn it on. You're going to see this arrow right here start smacking down, signifying the gain reduction of the snare hits. So between those two, you'll hear that the snare comes down a bit, but the overheads really start to pop out when using the compressor in this way. Again, I use this in almost every single session that I work on anymore. Lastly, I love to use it on the snare. Like I said, it's a staple at this point for what I will throw on my snares. Almost any genre, I will use it. In here, I believed I used the Bluey snare. I love the Rock My snare, or just the general Blackie snare preset. The Greg Price snare, bottom and snare top presets are great. Again, all of these presets sound amazing. We'll take a listen to it with and without the 1176 engaged. You can really hear it pull out some characteristics of the snare that you didn't hear before. Things like that are why I love this 76 emulator. It doesn't even have to be the CLA-76. I just love the way a 76 sounds on snares, vocals, and overheads. When I was taught that overhead trick, it was on an actual 1176 rack-mounted analog piece of equipment. And while this might not quite sound exactly the same, it still gives the same effect. Like I said, the CLA-76 is a go-to compressor that I use on so many sessions anymore, and I don't know how I mixed without it when I was first getting started. Take the time to try it out. It doesn't even have to be the CLA-76. Universal Audio has an amazing ones. There are other companies that have 76 plugins that are great. The CLA-76 is just the one I have because I got it on one of those amazing Wave plugin bundles. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like and comment down below. Tell me what you think of the CLA-76. Have you used it in your sessions, or do you have another 1176 plugin? And be sure to subscribe. I've got a lot more Tuesday review days coming, as well as other musical content. The music you hear in this video can actually be found in a cover that I have down in the description that I did with a good friend of mine's band, Vista Blue. But thank you guys so much for watching, and until next Tuesday.